Ford just made 7 controversial changes to the 2026 Bronco that are splitting the off-road community right down the middle, with longtime enthusiasts calling some updates complete betrayals of what made this off-roader legendary. If you've been following the Bronco's comeback story and wondering whether Ford truly understands what made this vehicle special, these 7 polarizing decisions will either validate your concerns or completely shock you. While most automakers play it safe with updates, Ford's bold moves with the 2026 Bronco prove they're willing to risk alienating their core fanbase for changes that could either revolutionize the off-road market or destroy decades of heritage. Number 7. Styling updates that abandon heritage. Picture yourself pulling up to the trailhead, and instead of turning heads with that unmistakable boxy Bronco silhouette, you're driving something that could be mistaken for any other modern SUV. That's the fear-gripping Bronco purist as Ford pushes the 2026 model toward mainstream design language. The updated front end features sleeker LED headlight clusters that sacrifice the iconic round design for aerodynamic efficiency. Ford has also refined the grille with smoother lines and integrated more body-colored panels where the original showcased raw, functional elements. Therefore, purists are furious that Ford is sanitizing the Bronco's rugged character in favor of appealing to suburban buyers. Every time Ford makes the Bronco more refined, it drifts further from the utilitarian workhorse that outdoorsmen relied on for decades. But if you think the styling changes are divisive, wait until you see how Ford's handling their biggest anniversary celebration, which brings us to the next controversy. Number 6. 60th Anniversary Edition disappoints performance expectations. Think about the anticipation of owning a piece of automotive history, a special edition that celebrates 6 decades of American off-road heritage. Ford is capitalizing on this emotional connection with a 60th Anniversary Edition featuring unique Wimbledon white paint with contrasting vermilion red accents and exclusive interior treatments with embossed anniversary logos. But here's where dreams crash into disappointing reality. Despite all the visual fanfare, Ford made 0 mechanical upgrades. Enthusiasts who expected a performance boost to match that premium appearance package are feeling completely betrayed. Many anticipated a special V8 engine to compete directly with the Jeep Wrangler 392, which delivers earth-shaking power that makes every acceleration feel like an event. Therefore, critics are calling this a missed opportunity to create something that performs as special as it looks. But if you're disappointed by the Anniversary Edition's lack of power, the ongoing engine debate cuts even deeper, touching the very soul of what makes American off-roaders legendary. Number 5. Engine choices fuel the V8 debate. Close your eyes and imagine the deep, rumbling exhaust note that once defined American off-road vehicles, that visceral connection between driver and machine. Ford offers a 300-horsepower 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder and a 330-horsepower 2.7-liter twin-turbo V6 that deliver excellent torque figures and strong acceleration. But for traditionalists who grew up with naturally aspirated V8s, these power plants feel like a betrayal of everything that made American trucks special. When Wrangler 392 owners fire up their 470-horsepower V8, everyone stops to listen to that distinctive American muscle soundtrack. Ford's turbocharged engines produce excellent power-to-weight ratios, but they lack the distinctive exhaust note and linear power delivery that creates emotional connection. Therefore, every time you press the accelerator, you're reminded of what could have been. But power plant preferences are just the beginning. The real controversy lies in Ford's fundamental engineering philosophy, which brings us to a decision that's shaking the foundation of off-road capability. Number 4. Suspension setup compromises pure off-road DNA. Think about the confidence you feel when approaching a challenging rock section, knowing your vehicle's suspension can handle whatever terrain throws at it. Ford's suspension design choice is shaking that confidence among hardcore enthusiasts. The Bronco uses independent front suspension instead of the solid front axle found in the Jeep Wrangler. Ford made this choice to improve your daily commute comfort and reduce steering wheel vibrations. But solid axles provide superior articulation when navigating extreme terrain. Picture navigating a challenging trail and wondering whether your suspension will limit your line choice instead of opening up possibilities. The most frustrating part? The on-road advantages are surprisingly minimal for such a significant compromise. Your daily drive doesn't feel noticeably smoother than solid axle competitors, but your weekend adventures are definitely more limited. Therefore, many buyers question whether Ford made the right trade-off when the improved comfort is barely noticeable. But suspension philosophy is just one part of Ford's design gamble, as another signature feature is creating even more daily frustration, which leads us to a practical problem every owner faces. Number 3. Hardtop design creates practical problems. Imagine the excitement of your first sunny weekend after buying your new Bronco, planning to remove those roof panels for the ultimate open-air experience. You're envisioning wind in your hair and unlimited sky above, ready to transform your enclosed SUV into the ultimate freedom machine. But real-world usage reveals significant practical challenges. Picture yourself in a parking lot, struggling to safely remove heavy and awkward hardtop panels that require careful coordination to avoid scratches. The system that looked so convenient in commercials becomes a major hassle when you want open-air driving on short notice. The modular design also compromises your daily comfort, allowing more wind noise during highway cruising and potential water leaks. Some owners report rattles and vibrations from panel connections that turn every drive into an annoying reminder of the system's limitations. Therefore, every time you consider removing panels, you're weighing convenience against hassle. But physical design problems pale in comparison to the mental challenge Ford created for buyers, which brings us to a controversy that affects everyone who tries to purchase one. Number 2. Complex trim structure confuses buyers. Picture yourself walking into a Ford dealership excited to finally buy your dream Bronco, only to discover you need a PhD in automotive options to understand what you're purchasing. The lineup includes Base, Big Bend, Outer Banks, Heritage Edition, Badlands, Strop Edition, and Raptor variants, each with different capability levels that aren't immediately obvious. Multiple door configurations, roof options, and package combinations create hundreds of possible configurations that make every purchasing decision feel like a gamble. Imagine spending months researching only to discover you could have saved thousands by choosing a different package combination. Jeep's Wrangler offers a more straightforward approach, where trim names clearly indicate capability levels. Ford's system requires extensive research to understand why the Sasquatch package costs different amounts depending on which trim you choose. Therefore, the brand's attempt to offer maximum choice has created a purchasing experience that frustrates more than it helps. But complex options pale in comparison to the biggest controversy of all, the one that's pricing out the very people who made this truck legendary, which brings us to the most divisive change Ford has made. Number 1. Pricing makes the Bronco unattainable. Picture the original Bronco buyer, a hardworking farmer, contractor, or outdoor enthusiast who needed reliable, affordable transportation that could handle both weekday work duties and weekend adventures. That customer could walk into a Ford dealer and drive home with the capability without requiring a luxury car budget. Those days are gone. Base models now start around $38,000, but that's just the beginning of your financial commitment. A properly equipped Bronco with the Sasquatch package and meaningful options easily reaches $55,000 to $65,000, placing it in premium luxury SUV territory. The high-performance Raptor variant commands over $92,000, making it more expensive than many sports cars. Think about that monthly payment. You're looking at luxury car ownership costs for a vehicle that's supposed to get muddy and scratched on weekend trails. The customers who built this brand's reputation, the contractors who needed reliable work trucks, and the hunters who demanded capability over comfort now face monthly payments that rival luxury car ownership. Therefore, Ford has transformed the Bronco from an accessible adventure vehicle into an expensive lifestyle statement. These 7 changes reveal Ford's fundamental dilemma: balancing heritage authenticity with modern market demands while trying to satisfy both nostalgic purists and contemporary buyers. From styling that abandons classic DNA to pricing that excludes working-class customers, Ford is gambling that suburban buyers will embrace what hardcore enthusiasts are rejecting. Whether these controversial decisions strengthen or destroy the Bronco's legacy depends entirely on which audience Ford chooses to prioritize: the loyal enthusiasts who kept the dream alive, or the profitable customers who can afford the premium prices. If you're still not convinced that the rivals are less controversial, then it's the right moment to check out our review of the 2026 Jeep Wrangler that's coming in the next video. If you think these two off-roaders offer essentially the same thing, you'll be surprised by how Wrangler delivers what it promises without any compromise. Moreover, it stands out with a way more comprehensive powertrain lineup, less polarizing aesthetics, and, as we already mentioned, suspension setup that's strictly focused on off-roading.